Christos Yannikakis is a fruit grower in Veria. His cold storage houses are brimming over with kiwis from last September's harvest. But instead of shipping, they're rotting. He can hardly contain his fury.
Tell me, what good is it to the European Union to maintain these sanctions against Russia? None. Everyone loses. Greece loses and the other EU members do too.
For the past few years, he's been selling 90% of his fresh produce, peaches and kiwis to Russia, until the embargo. Soon he'll have to throw away several €100,000 worth of kiwis, and he won't be compensated.
Only for the peaches is there a small recompense, 7 or 8 cents a kilo.
The only thing keeping him afloat is the canning department next door. The embargo doesn't apply to preserves, but the fruit growers can't increase their production this way.
Not all peach varieties are suitable for preserves. Only a certain kind is good for canning.
Anyway, it would take at least 2 years to start growing this variety. Fruit trees are not machines. In Thessaloniki, sun worshippers gather around the White Tower to enjoy the spring weather instead of in cafes. The crisis has left its mark here too. The newly elected left-wing Syriza coalition blames the European Union, not Russia.
The embargo against Russia comes from the sanctions imposed by the EU, which we from Syriza reject.
But the local party leader doesn't mention that the escalating rounds of sanctions began as a response to Russia's aggressive actions in Ukraine, and many of her countrymen don't seem to care. The repercussions of the embargo can be seen along Thessaloniki's waterfront. Mostly imports are, or rather were, processed here. Hardly any ships dock here anymore. Without purchasing power, no demand. Without demand, no imports.
I think it's extremely important for the Greek enterprises, as well as for their Russian partners, to see the embargo lifted without delay.
The stakes are high. Russia has expressed interest in the port of Thessaloniki. These containers are destined for Serbia and Macedonia. That makes the port not just economically, but strategically important to Russia. Over 200 years ago, Catherine the Great recognized the importance of access to the Aegean Sea and to Thessaloniki's port as a gateway to Balkan trade. The Russian State Railway tried to invest here in 2013, but the EU intervened and stopped the deal. The current government in Greece is open to compromise.
The port of Thessaloniki has to remain state-owned. But why can't we set up joint operations with other states or even private enterprises within this structure?
A deal to overhaul the railway's decrepit freight center nearby was also stopped. Now Moscow is beginning to look more and more attractive as a partner, especially once or if the embargo is lifted.
It's in our own interests to develop investment activity that will advance the region as a whole. It doesn't matter who invests. Why not Russian companies?
Christos Yannikakis and his co-workers inspect the blossoms on their peach trees. They estimate the first fruit will be ripe in about 10 weeks. A solution has to be found by then.
Russia was our market, and if we don't get this market back, I don't know how the fruit from these glorious blossoms are going to help us farmers or our region get any kind of income.
In short, these fruit growers are facing bankruptcy. Moscow has indicated its willingness to buy their produce in spite of the embargo, if the export can be arranged through a Russian-Greek joint venture. To these farmers, it's one last glimmer of hope.